Hey guys, it's Luca. It's been a long time since I made a video, and yeah, I just wanted to throw up some video, talk a little bit about MTG Finance. Um, and like, what's the future of MTG Finance? I think so. I've been buying and selling cars for over 10 years now, and things are always changing. I think if you want to make money investing in Magic, you have to kind of realize that things are always changing. So what's worked 10 years ago is not going to work today. What worked 2 or 3 years ago is not going to work today. What's going to work 3 years from now will be different. Things are always changing. People will cling to certain patterns. They'll, if someone makes money doing X, Y, Z, they're going to keep trying that thing. They're going to tell their friends about it. Everyone's going to keep doing it until it stops working. And then you have to find the next thing. So I guess if there's one like tried and true method of making money investing in Magic, I would have to say it's like you have to look where other people are not looking. Um, so like Rudy from Alpha Investments recently made a video about like vintage Magic is dead. And to me that just screams bottom. Like if Rudy makes a video that vintage Magic is dead, it's probably time to start buying vintage Magic. People have given up. When people give up, that's time to buy. When everyone's super hyped about something, everyone thinks something is a great idea, that's probably the time to sell. This is just kind of nature of humans and markets. Things get overvalued when everyone is in on the trade, and things get undervalued when everyone gives up on a trade. Especially as Magic investors, like we should play to our strengths, right? Like what is the difference between investing in Magic and investing in the stock market? Stock market is way bigger. It's, I don't know, trillions of dollars, right? Yeah. Magic is probably in the order of like billions of dollars investing in Magic cards, or maybe even millions. Maybe it's only hundreds of millions of dollars, probably billions. So, what is the advantage and disadvantage of being a Magic investor? Well, one of the huge disadvantages is scale, right? So let's say you find a new spec. Like recently, I invested in Basim, because Aspiring Spike was building a modern deck with Basim from the Assassin's Creed set. Um, and it went from $3 to like $20 or something, right? Could you invest $1 million in Basim? No. So you can't scale in Magic as much as you could in other markets, and that's a disadvantage. But what's an advantage is how many people know about Magic, how many investors care about Magic, right? So the fact that it's a smaller market, you can get higher returns. So that's our advantage, right? We can get higher returns. Disadvantage is we can't scale as much. So basically that's it, is we can find really awesome trades that other people can't find because they don't play Magic. So basically we need to take advantage of this, and but it's more work, right? So you have to find things that work and find weird trades that other people can't see. So that being said, where do I think the future is? What do I think are these weird trades that other people aren't looking at? So there's going to be lots of things. I think there's hundreds of opportunities within Magic to make money. For like, what am I looking at personally? I'm looking at Magic Online, certain trades on Magic Online. I'm looking at the old border foils, the sets like specifically I'm really into like Prophecy foils, Nemesis foils, Mercadian Mass foils. Um, but there's lots of other places to look, and I think probably one good rule of thumb is, where's the money going, right? The money is going in EDH because the vast majority of EDH players, of Magic players, are EDH players. So There's cards that go from $1 to $2 to $10 because they're amazing in EDH. So that's some place to look that I don't personally go into, but there's opportunities everywhere. But the point is, you have to be looking where other people are not looking. You can't read an article, or you can't watch a Rudy video and get a great trade idea, most likely. You have to kind of come up with these ideas on your own. You have to do your own research if you really want to make good returns. You have to look where other people are not looking, but there's so many opportunities. Another thing that worked for me recently was I bought like the old theme decks. Like they used to make these theme decks for the old sets, like Prophecy. Let me actually pull some of these things. All right, so there's these theme decks. This one is Deepwood Menace from Mercadian Masks. This one's the Scout deck from Planeshift. So I bought some of these and they went up in value and I sold them and made a little bit of profit. That being said, okay, so this is gonna bring me to my next point though, which is in order to do well in Magic investing, you also have to know like the huge market-wide factors. Like, okay, so I bought one of these, it went up in value, and I sold it. Does that mean it was a good investment? Maybe not, because maybe at the same time I could have bought something else and it would have gone up more, right? So I think one of the key aspects to investing in Magic or investing in anything is understanding global liquidity cycles. And this is something no one talks about in Magic investing, right? Like, why is it that when Magic cards went up in price, also Bitcoin went up in price, also the stock market went up in price, also Nvidia went up in price, also I don't have a home, but the home values went up in price, and why did also gold go up in price, and why do all assets seem to move up and down together? This is a huge question that no one is talking about in Magic, right? So anytime you're spending, let's say, US dollars and buying Magic cards, there's two sides of that equation, right? The Magic cards have their own supply and demand that can increase or decrease the price, but also the dollars have supply and demand. The value of a dollar can change, right? So the value of Magic cards could stay completely the same, and the price could fluctuate highly based on dynamics that are related to the dollar. So there's two sides of this equation, right? The currency is not some fixed thing. It's not like degrees of Celsius, degrees Fahrenheit, or inches and feet, right? This is a measuring stick that's always moving. That's something that a lot of people are missing, right? So another huge thing people need to think about is why do all these assets move up and down at the same time? And if everything is correlated, can we kind of predict when prices are going to go up and when prices are going to go down? So, in my humble opinion, I think liquidity is about to pump massively into the system. Based on my research, these liquidity cycles are kind of like 4-year cycles. Also have a lot to do with US elections. US elections are coming up, and if the pattern continues during these election cycles, there's usually huge inflows of liquidity. So that means all these assets are going to go up. In particular, the riskier assets go up the most. So I think things like crypto, things like Magic cards, especially the more speculative stuff like vintage Magic, should go up a lot. And this is something no one talks about, right? You'll never see a Magic video talking about elections, talking about liquidity cycles, talking about the US dollar, but it's honestly the more important side of the equation that you really should be thinking about more than anything. So in my humble opinion, the Rudy video just came out, Vintage Magic is dead. I think now must be an amazing time to buy. I think reserve list is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. It makes no sense. Why would it matter? Let's say we have all the foils from Urza's Legacy, right? All the foil rares from Urza's Legacy. why does it matter if one of them is a reserveless card and the other one is not, right? Why does it matter if Deranged Hermit, let's say, is a foil rare reserveless card and there's another foil rare from Urza's Legacy? Well, like, why? It's completely irrelevant in my opinion. I think reserveless was kind of like a meme. It makes no sense. You should be more thinking about just supply and demand, right? Um, and once you start thinking about supply and demand, you'll realize it doesn't matter if something's a reserveless card. It just matters if it has super low supply. So I think a smarter strategy would be, for example, go for old border foil or whatever, or a rare from a set that doesn't have a high print run. Go for something with low supply. They can't reprint they can't reprint a beta Soul Ring. It doesn't matter if it's reserve list or not, right? It doesn't matter if they make 1,000 more copies of Soul Ring in the new commander sets. A beta Soul Ring is effectively reserve list, right? So think of it that way. And that means that people were kind of duped into believing that reserve list, the fact that something is on the reserve list made a card valuable. It can in very specific situations, which is like if it's an EDH playable card and it's reserve list, that does matter because now it can't be reprinted. But that's a very specific case, and for the most part, I think reserve list cards are way overpriced. So Vintage Magic, if you're only focused for whatever reason on reserve list, is probably dead. It's probably a huge bubble that needs to completely pop. And maybe that meme will come back, but I think that's kind of silly. I think investing in reserve list is kind of silly, but anything else makes a lot of sense. Anything that's like out of print and can't be reprinted in terms of they can't reprint the old version of the card. That's what really matters. People are collecting the old versions. They don't, it doesn't affect the old version's price if a new version comes out. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts. I think liquidity is about to come into the system. All asset prices should go up, which should really bring up Magic. Also, the fact that a lot of people have given up means that we could be close to a bottom. That's kind of the greed and fear cycle. And I think reserve list is kind of silly, but find your own niche as a Magic investor. Find what works for you. Go and look in the places other people aren't looking. For me personally, that is the old border foils. I think people aren't really, there's some people that are, but there's not that many people. And I think some of these cards are crazy, crazy hard to find, especially in high grade. Like for me, the ideal thing that I want is like a high grade on a old border foil, like a Prophecy rare foil, Nemesis rare foil, Mercadian Mask rare foil. I think these are like some of the rarest cards in the game. Yeah, so go after, find patterns in the market that where no one else is looking. There's lots of opportunity because it's a small market, right? So that's kind of the advantage of investing in Magic cards is it's a super small market. You can find really high returns because there's not a lot of competition here. Like Wall Street is not here, or people that are making millions of dollars aren't going to look here. It's more of kind of like a fun little hobby of buying and selling Magic cards. You could definitely make thousands of dollars, but I don't think you can make millions in finding these kind of like small trades that work. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in another video.